I think it's live.
Okay, I will
Let's
confirm.
Refreshing the Facebook
Yay, it
group.
is.
It is?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. We're good.
Wow.
We look good.
That was rough.
It was rough. Hi, Heidi. Okay, cool. So, yeah, Derek and I are using some not new technology, but newly updated technology. So we're, again, another week of me not being next to him. And so I'm calling him from Skype, and we're broadcasting from eCam, because last week we had to do Zoom. And this week we made Skype connect and work. It was an interesting little step we had to do, but it works. It looks good. I like how this looks better than Zoom streaming in, but now that Zoom streaming in is $15. Cool. Yay. Heidi says she sees us and hears us perfectly. Thanks, girl. It's good to see your face. Cool. Derek is pulling in questions or comments or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Or no.
I'm on it. I got it.
I will distract. Elizabeth is here. Hello.
Vamp,
I saw your
Lindsay
thread.
Vamp.
What?
Vamp.
Vamp what?
Just vamp.
This is me vamping?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know. Vamp is a weird word. Yeah, I'm vamping.
Vamp it out.
Vamp it out. So, yeah, excited to help everyone today. Elizabeth, we can answer your question too from the email. I just saw that came in, and then also the thread as well. So I know you're on live, but Derek's going to pull in some questions that are on the thread.
Boom.
Cool. Oh, Heidi had a question. Woo woo! That's why she's here, girl. Awesome. Let's answer Heidi's first then.
Sure. People are asking in the Q&A thread where the call is happening, so I just quickly said we're live.
We are live.
Okay, Heidi's question. Scrolling. There it is.
Oh, Ryan's here too. Good. Sweet. Hi, Ryan. New student alert.
Whoa, look at that face. That's a large face.
What does it look like?
How do I
can't see it yet. Oh. That's so good.
It'd be nice if I could remove that.
This is what happens when you use new technology.
Yeah.
Hi, Savannah. Oh my God, yes. LOL in all caps, for sure. How do you get the face smaller? Because now you can even read the text.
I'm going to try and start reading it, and then...
I can't even read it. Okay, I'll read it from here. Okay. This is Heidi's question. Heidi, glad that you're here. So the first question is, I'm getting a large amount of people asking if I could tell them how to get their first clients so they can afford my course. They're asking me to explain them things that are part of my course, basically wanting me to share via email all of the content in the course without buying it. 3, or they're showing up in my email asking a laundry list of questions. I spend more time answering them than they ask more. I answer those and then disappear even though they got the exact answer they were looking for. So many of these people want me to do the work for them, blah, 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 self-sabotaging. What's the appropriate way to tell them this without sounding like a complete bitch? I think that's a fair question. I'm echoey.
Yeah.
So that's,
it might be me. I'm going to put on headphones.
okay. Now, do I sound better? If
No,
Derek's
I need to change the sound first. Go ahead and talk, Lindsay.
All right, so this is us testing. Do I still sound echoey? Everybody? What's interesting is the Skype logo is still on. No, you are okay, Derek, just her.
Yeah, but you might be hearing her through my microphone because it was coming through the speakers.
Yeah. He used to be a DJ. Oh, cool. Derek loves sound. You guys can nerd. Okay, yeah. He says better. Okay, cool.
Good.
Okay, so now to answer Heidi's question. So essentially, people are getting, okay, this is so interesting, Heidi, and I feel like I'm actually experiencing this myself as well. So And Jackie probably could even talk about this a little bit because we've been having this conversation about our free Facebook group as well. Now, if someone was in my inbox asking for, like, I actually have someone in my Facebook Messenger, so let's pretend they emailed me, but I have someone in my Messenger that literally is like, thoughts? And I'm like, no, like, you don't just like get to like message me and say thoughts. But, and I think the point being is you can teach things publicly to lots of people through social media. You can do an IGTV or an IG story. You could do a Facebook Live. You could do a really well thought out post or email, and we can teach, and you decide that way. When someone comes in our inbox and is like, can you help me do this? I think as a business owner, my response, and is something that I'm working on templatizing, I think, with my team, because we're also starting to get an influx of that as well, is, you know, Lindsay has this free post. Lindsay has this free thing. Lindsay did a call on this. Lindsay has a podcast on this. Answer. So if there's any way you can direct them to a free resource, even though you know that that free resource isn't totally going to give them the answer, that's the most cordial way to do it. But then I think we can get to a point where if you don't have a free resource for that thing that you can provide them, you actually are completely and totally in your power and creating a boundary that says, you know, this would require a really long explanation. Like, fortunately, like I have a course product that teaches you exactly how to do this. And I say this on the webinar. That's actually my transition sentence is, man, I taught you a lot of cool stuff and you could go off and try to launch a course right now. But there's so much more that I can never teach you in 60 minutes. And so you would say, there's so much more that I could never teach you in an email, the answer behind this. So like, please sign up for my course because I spent a lot of time on it. It's step by step and it works. It's a proven system. So all you have to do is say, I have a proven system for this, that it does not boil down to an email. And then they are like, oh, that makes sense. Because if you tried to answer that, like, you know, you couldn't actually get them the result they want. So that's that part about them getting stuck, right? Them not like sabotaging themselves. Because if they think they're going to get something for free from you, there's no way that they're just missing one tiny thing and that free thing is going to get them all the success that they actually want. So you just have to phrase it in a way and say like, look, I can't write out for you exactly. Like I created a 4-hour course that teaches you how to do this. Like this, I can't write an email that encapsulates what happens in 4 hours. So that's all you have to say. And I don't think it's bad. Like it's like legitimately you could not teach something. But Derek, can you teach people quantum mechanics in an email? Like you can't. So like no one would expect that. And so I think we just have to position our product as like, oh, this is a really well thought out curriculum that has had hundreds of students go through. Like, I'd love for you to join us, but like, I can't write out exactly what you need to know in this email, but here's this free resource. I'm hopefully this helps you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good, Heidi. Yeah. I mean, this is happening all over the place. And I think it's just like, and then if they go off and they're like, oh, what a bitch. It's like, then they're not running a legitimate business anyways. like they're not your ideal person because they were never going to buy your thing in the first place. So I don't know. Derek, any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, that's why message boards are the shit show they are. It's like people trying to answer questions like in text quickly and like explaining big ideas in a succinct way just doesn't work.
No.
Takes time.
So I think the best way to look at it from the teacher perspective is you're actually doing a disservice to that person, even trying to help them. And if you know that deep down, then it's not about you being bitchy. It's actually you're in best service to what they need to do as a student. Like this isn't even going to help them. They're not going to get what they need. So then you're free to like, you're not responsible for them at like their response. And yeah, I think adding, oh, great, perfect. And you're collecting all these questions you're getting asked. Awesome. Because you can create a freebie that maybe does start to address some of these things, but not fully answer it. So then you can always direct them back to some free resource. So you don't look like a bitch. You're actually like, oh my gosh, I would love to help you. Here's a free thing. And then of course I have my like really comprehensive program that teaches hundreds of students my process. And then you give them both and you're not like, you know, you're giving them both options. Cool. Sweet.
Right.
Phone situation, kind of.
I don't see a fix for the big head, so I think that's going to be a theme for today.
Derek's big face.
Yeah. Scrolling back to the top.
Okay.
Do you want to do Catherine Novak? Was she here? Did I see a comment?
She's not. So let's start with Ryan since he's on.
Okay.
I don't think Catherine is. If you are, say hi, and we'll come to you next.
I think it's going to be another big head. I'm going to try and drag it out of the way.
Okay.
There it is. It's a long... I can't get it out of the way.
Oh, it won't let you go off screen.
Mm-mm.
The long ones make the head really big.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Ryan. Yay! Welcome.
It's so funny.
We're really excited that you're here. So, blowing in the wind. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. If you're saying asking, are you talking about Ryan Levesque since you capitalized that? Perfect. My ad on Instagram. Exactly. Yay. Okay, cool. So, I'm rummaging. I have had all the course material in my head, verbalizing it, blah, blah, blah. But now I know how to organize it, complete it. Okay, cool. So here's the question. Thanks for that intro, though, Ryan. Okay, so here's my question. I'm launching this course as part of my pre-launch content for a related ongoing subscription. Okay, cool. So membership on the back end. Specifically, my course is about online and offline marketing for local independent small businesses. Oh, I love that. Think mom and pop. Okay, my ongoing service is a directory for those people. No chains. Oh, so good. Have you ever had somebody do that, like something before? Create a course, sell the course, pivot, and upselling an offer on the back end? Yes. Okay. So, any advice? I definitely don't have case studies, but here's my background in why I know this works. And you missed me and my connection with Stu McLaren. There's lots of people probably watching on BBB. I promoted his stuff. He's a mentor of mine. A course on the front end that teaches foundations. Whatever you decide the foundations your ideal student needs to learn to be able to have the success that they want and the result that they want, and you deliver that. On the back end, to have some sort of recurring revenue membership subscription process, they're all called like similar things, it's a beautiful combination because let's pretend your product is $500 or $997. And they have to pay maybe $20 or $50 or $100 a month after. If you got them that result and they need that next thing and you're filling and solving a problem for them that they would just be bananas not to take you up on that offer, you are creating monthly recurring revenue that is just such a beautiful thing to have in business. So I say that because Stu McLaren is the guy who teaches membership sites and subscription services and monthly recurring revenue models. And they work beautifully with courses. I can tag you in a video interview I did with him during the launch, just so you can see and get the like, oh yeah, I'm doing the right thing. Because that's what I want you to have right now is confidence that, yep, you are not the first person to do that. And it works. We just have to make sure that the offer is super aligned and you're solving a really amazing problem that they're going to have once they get to the end of the course. And the reason why you sell a course on the front end is they want to go from A to Z really quickly. They want to learn the foundation and they want it in a module form and fast. Membership site is like ongoing help that they'll need, like to grow their business or to learn latest strategies. And so they're going to be like, cool, I learned foundation stuff for you. Why wouldn't I stick around? I also want to be in community with those students that I went through the course with. So it's, I don't personally have case studies, but I do know also a lot of clients when we were doing one-on-one courses actually started changing their products to not be lifetime access and to be more of a like 90-day access and then an ongoing community on the back end to help with implementation. That's what Stu talks about a lot too. So, yeah, I guess like case studies I have more from one-on-one clients. I'm trying to think if there's anyone in BBB. I mean, we probably have a bunch of people in BBB doing it because of Tribe. I just don't know.
They're going through it right now.
They're going through it right now. It's just wrapping up. And
yeah. And that's
so,
the correct spelling, Ryan. You spelled it right. Yep.
I wasn't paying attention to the.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Stu McLaren. Yep. To learn and be found by local audience levels in the community. Yeah. So I think it's genius. And I think I love what you're teaching too. That's so needed. Cool. Sweet. Okay. Any other follow-up questions, Ryan? I know I like kind of answered your question, but I introduced you to someone who knows that, and it totally works. That model that you're coming up with, as far as like a business model from an education perspective, totally works.
I'm going to add this to the broadcast just so others can see it, and also to get rid of my big face covering up the screen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. What's the next question?
The next question was Heidi, but we already answered it.
Oh.
And that was it from the thread.
Okay, so then we have people asking. Cool.
Mm-hmm. I want to say this, though. Christine Slater, soft launched in alpha. Congrats.
Woo! Congrats, Christine. Love it. Okay, so Mary has kind of more of a follow-up than Elizabeth has a question, but it's a little off this. Okay, so do you recommend us setting an end date to access to our course, like 90 days? Ooh, okay. It depends. So there's pros and cons, I would say. From a marketing perspective, everyone used to offer lifetime access 3 years ago. Kind of like so if you actually read our terms and conditions when you bought BBB, you get lifetime access to our content. I will never remove you access to Member Vault, this version. If we somehow up-leveled the curriculum and did a total overhaul, I've seen people resell to their people the next iteration because they're making back some of the costs that they put in. But we're talking huge up level. And right now you guys are getting every update we make. You guys are getting access to. So all that being said, what it does say in our terms is that, you might not actually have access to the Facebook group or our calls. That could change. And you want to build that flexibility in for whatever reason you need to, because your business will shift and you want to be able to build that in. But then the student always has access to the textbook. It's just the classroom and access to the teacher might shift. Okay, so I say that all to be said that there are some downsides to having BBB students pay $9.97, get access to us on a Q&A call every single week indefinitely, which is what we have going for you guys right now. The reason why there's a downside, I can relate exactly to college. The semester system exists for a reason. If there is a beginning and an end to the semester, and it does make people have to study for exams and have to do their homework on time and have to move through the content at a certain time. When you don't do that, especially in a self-paced, self-driven thing, it's easy to just always assume it'll be there. And then you never get the fire lit under you to go and take advances. And so I don't know if you guys have seen the launch thread that we have in the field trip where everyone sets their dates, but just take a gander how many times people push back stuff. Now, life happens. I'm not saying that no one will ever push back stuff, but what if we did limit it to 90 days? How that would change our sales, but it would also possibly boost results. So you have to think about that from your perspective, from the student. And, my beta version, I said, I'm going to only be running the beta version of this course for this window. My live access had to have an end. And I did end it. I didn't close the group and archive it or anything because it's that group. It's this group. But I stopped showing up in it. And they were expecting that because the live access to me, which is the beta, changed. And so then moving into my launch and then relaunching, then it became what it is today. I will say this, my results of launching a course, I don't think I would go 90 days for us. If we did end it and create a subscription model on the back end, I don't think it would be 90 because in a quarter, what did we just have a call with our project manager today? We have to move back a huge thing that we thought was going to happen. That happens in business. And so to say someone has to launch their course in 90 days or they lose access, that just doesn't feel that good to me. But 4 months to 6 months feels a little more you should probably get moving on this and make it happen. And so does our curriculum match the time access we're given? I've seen other entrepreneurs, Selena Sue is an example. We audited her course. She runs Impacting Millions. It's an amazing course. It teaches you PR. She gives access to her amazing Facebook group for a year. And then you do have to buy back in. She doesn't have a monthly model, I don't think, but I think because she launches every year, she resells them. If you want access to the group as an alumni, and this is like a $3,000 program, then you have to pay $500 or something like that. But if you don't want access to that amazing group, that's okay. But like, you have the curriculum forever, and you had 1 year to like pitch people and do what you thought, right? So it is becoming more common, and it's less because the marketer is being terrible about it. And I think people are really leaning towards student completion. People aren't doing the result that they should and want to do and set out for themselves because they think they have forever. So if you've bought a course and you're like, oh, I have access, like I'll just go to it when I'm ready. How many times have you actually gone back? That's those questions you want to start asking yourself. So publicly, am I saying like I recommend one or the other? To me, I'm always like, what's best for you and your students? And for us, we've been playing with this for, it'll be a year by the end of the summer. And, we are going to start thinking about, is it best for our students to have access to Derek and I every week indefinitely? And if we look at our percentage of people launching, do we think that if we gave them more of a window, would they do better? And then would they value what we do more if they were paying, say, $50 a month after, $100 a month after? How does that change our business? And like, how does it change your results?
And yeah, Christine Slater, this came up last week talking about putting a deadline, like an endpoint on access to BBB content, and like, get your results get result by this date because you have access to us and like the community. So Christine said that motivated her to start going. Lindsay and I work the same way. We're procrastinators, both of us. Yep. And like, if there's a deadline, we'll work and get it done by the deadline, but no deadline, we just don't feel the urgency to do it, which is hard, and we've struggled with it since we started the business. So it's been our thing since we were teachers and grad students and all that. We work better with deadlines. Exactly.
And I think just so you know, though, we're being as transparent as possible. Like, if we decided that, there's lots of options we have. We could grandfather everyone in. I don't know that would best serve everyone, but you would get the same end date. We would not go backwards, retrograde, or anything like that. It would be like from this day, now 6 months start. So like, you guys have had then 2 years of access for us. Right. So it's like, you're not, just so you know, like you will be completely and totally involved in this. I would never just like do that. So, and it always comes with a reasoning. And I like what's cool about like you guys being in a course about courses is I get to be meta about the teacher and the marketer making decisions. And so I will always be open with you guys about it. So yeah, cool. Hopefully that's helpful. And Mary, if you want to talk about what you're thinking for your people, happy to think about it with you. Yeah. And I guess what I want to also highlight to you guys right now too, is you don't have to decide, like anything you decide in your business does not have to last forever. Like, you run it, you're in charge, you're the boss. So if it's not working for you and your people, you get to decide to change it. So you could start one place, but definitely if you could build in, I would build in the terms and conditions, and you can read our sample is this one. It'll say lifetime access to the content may not be lifetime access to calls, community, like that kind of thing. So yeah, as long as there's video that can be downloaded on the internet, you will always have access. Even if Member Vault ended, we would give you guys videos. Like, we would send you audios. Like, I wouldn't leave you hanging. That's what that's the textbook piece. I know you guys buy it more than just the textbook, but yeah, it's, just running a business, like things shift. So.
Yep. Cool. Do you want to go back up to Catherine Novak's question from yesterday?
Yeah. Elizabeth, I see you also asking, and there's people coming in other ones. Like,
yep.
Cool.
So Catherine from yesterday. Oh, back to my big head. Perfect.
I'm glad it's yours and not mine.
I know. Can you briefly describe what the good freebies entail? Freebie talk. Or put me in the direction where I can get a better idea of what a template is or how an email course works. I don't remember what all was listed in that quadrant.
Market like a teacher.
Teacher stuff, yeah. I just want a better understanding what those freebies look like so I can create one.
This is a great thing. And Derek, we're going to catch this. Can you copy that one and put it in our BBB? So Derek and I are reviewing the curriculum right now, and there are not examples of freebies of each of those categories. It might take me some time to pull them, like good examples. But so, I mean, I would advise you to download a bunch of people's freebies. Like you could go do that right now. You could go do your research. If you find some good ones, please share with us. But essentially, like what I recommend in there, and the quadrant is related to like how quick something can be consumed, and how much of a jump it will help, like how much it will actually help you, like how valuable is the end result of that freebie. So it's the sweet spot of, that's why ebooks, like 100-page ebooks, 5 years ago on the internet, it was like, whoa, I get a book for free. Oh my gosh. Now I'm like, I don't want a fucking 100 pages. Like, just tell me what I need to know. Right. And so the idea of a template or a checklist that is super actionable gets me where I need to go as quick as possible and doesn't have a bunch of fluff to make it look fancy, like the teacher's dream, right? Like it's that beautiful mix of. So when it comes to your own business and figuring out the freebie, it's not just what is the most valuable and the fastest and easiest to consume, but it's also like, what do people need to know before they consume the next level? Like what result do you want to get them? And we just finished, like, or we're not done with our freebie, but we're about to release a freebie probably by the end of this month. It does need to be edited and then graphic designed, but the idea behind our freebie, what we were thinking about is like our freebie will lead someone to our masterclass, our free masterclass. And it's going to be what do they need to know or believe or think about themselves and their business to make them want to join the masterclass and to make them ready for the masterclass. So you kind of have to look at the whole structure, which is really what Market Like a Teacher talks about, that funnel of the student journey. And ours is they need to kind of have decided what their course topic is and like know that it's profitable and know the steps to take to go. So then when they come to my masterclass, they're like, oh, I learned this in her freebie and now I feel competent and ready to launch, and like this program will support me in that. That's why that's the step before ours. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of, it's not a checklist, actually. Ours is not a checklist. Ours is more an explanation of what we've called like the profitable course formula. And we put a little teaching kind of algebra spin on it. But it's like, what are the variables you need in place to like know that you have a course that's ready to go out into the world? And so we explain those things and we do a reflection with good questions about each one of those variables. So then when you complete it at the end, you can say, yes, like report card. We're probably going to do something around that where the person goes, oh, I'm ready. And then it's like, oh, cool, sign up for my masterclass. So that freebie, we may test running ads to it. We're going to definitely put it in our Facebook group. And we're going to just start, nurturing people before they see an ad from me, which obviously the ads are doing pretty well, obviously. But it's also great to warm people up who maybe aren't ready before the masterclass. So it also depends, so there's a lot of variables when creating a freebie as it relates to the rest of the stuff in your business, if that makes sense. So a good freebie isn't just consumability, time, like value, and like how fast you can do it. It's also like, is it relative to your people? And that's why you work backwards from the course you're going to offer. If BBB is where I want people to enroll, the masterclass is what enrolls them. What is something before the masterclass that I could teach them? And that's valuable enough, right? Hopefully that was a good enough explanation. Mm-hmm. But I would like to get freebies examples in there. Yeah. So we'll keep
I took a note, a to-do item, add example freebies to Market Like a Teacher.
Yes, Ryan. Free opt-in. They're called opt-ins. They're called freebies. They're called lead magnets. A white paper is a version of one of a freebie. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything you exchange, instead of exchanging money for it, you exchange an email address, basically.
Yeah. And the more valuable it is where someone goes, whoa, I get this for free, and it really got me a result, the better it's going to do for your relationship with that customer, ideally.
Got some birds in your background.
Yeah, I do. I'm at the ocean. There's some seagulls. And crows, actually.
I hear crows, yeah.
It just came. Okay.
Where was the first question that was from today? Elizabeth's.
One says, I just created my friend list.
Oh,
It's with Heidi in all caps. Thank you so much. Derek's running he has to snag it, not me.
You can't, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just created my friend list. I don't see that one.
Oh, maybe it's not on eCam. That sometimes happens.
I see it. Got it.
Okay.
So this is Heidi?
It's Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth. Okay. Does a specific list interfere who and when you see them?
Yeah, so you're talking about segmenting your Facebook friends, right? Which I teach in Market Like a Teacher. Yeah, so what happens is like when you go to post a Facebook post, you have to select who the audience is. It can be public, it could be only you, it could be close friends and any other list you create in Facebook, and you will select, I call it biz contacts. And so I often use biz contacts to really save my family and friends for like listening to stuff that like they really don't care about. So I think about it from that lens, and some other people think about it from the other lens. Like, I want my Facebook's information public. I'm fine with that. Some people are in industries or work 9-to-5 jobs that's not a good idea. But for me, it's fine. And I just down segmented my business list, and I'm just saving my public family and friends and people from high school from like seeing a bunch of business posts, if that makes sense. But I often post publicly. It's relative to my biz people, because it's often just like something about me as a person. And so I'm fine with everyone learning that. But I'm almost protecting my generic friends from business shit, is like how I look at it. So yes, it controls who sees what. And you can decide what those parameters. So some people protect people from seeing their kids or their like family and like knowing where they are location wise. And so like you would have different parameters in place, I guess. But yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. And then she has a question about launching.
I launch but no takers. That one. I still have the followed up options. 3 days left. I was told twice I love it but could not afford it. Any suggestions?
Yeah. Have you watched Bond's bonus on conversational selling? That's going to be one thing. When someone says they can't afford it, that means they don't see the value in it. So we might have to relook at your offer. I would say keep sticking strong. See if you can say and ask them if it feels good to you. What would make this really valuable? Whether or not I'm able to deliver on it, what would make this be something that you would be really excited about at this price point, and see what they say. If you want to share with us the price point, I'm open to hearing what the price point is. I don't know exactly what your whole offer is, which might make it a little hard to give you even more information, but like, you can go backwards from an original price, but you need to remove stuff from the offer. I never say all of a sudden your stuff should never just go on a sale randomly. It needs to be like, oh, I didn't realize you guys want this result. I'm going to take away one-on-one calls with me, or I'm going to take away this other part that I put in the offer, and now it's half of what it was going to be before, and then circle back to those people. But if that isn't possible for you based on how you constructed your offer, it's okay. Remember, we're in beta phase. We're just testing and seeing, and it may be an offer and it may be an audience thing, but we're going to know at the very, very end of this. So I would say stay strong and like keep showing up, and there's nothing necessarily that you can do different. It's just like, what steps would just make me have more conversations with people. That's what I'm always at. Like, how can you learn more about what this audience around you right now wants? That's it. It's not how can you make more sales. It's how can I truly learn more about what they want from me? That's the mindset you have to go in. It is not about converting them. It is about, are you creating something that they actually want? That's the key. I don't know if Elizabeth is still watching, if she has any other follow-up, but cool. Okay. Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. So strange, it has like a ghost face. I don't know why it was different.
What do you mean a ghost face? Oh, yeah. Yep. Huh. You didn't delete it. Okay.
I got it. Question about my course. I teach makeup, pedicures, waxing, etc. What does it look like when someone is launching a course that is more industry regulated like mine? I think of her webinar example in the interior designer who teaches other interior designers. Does she need some sort of specific accreditation to teach her course for that specific industry? I think I'm behind schedule because I keep getting caught up on that rather than just developing my course. Hope it makes sense. My kid is currently screaming at me. LOL.
Okay. I don't have that other sentence that you just read right before the kid is screaming at me. Where'd you get that information? Yeah.
I got it on eCamp.
I'm behind schedule. Yeah, it's so weird.
This is a weird comment because all other comments say add to broadcast or like it, but this one didn't. I had to click and drag, which is why it was doubled. It was like over the other comment. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay, so my thoughts on this. So yeah, I'm not a subject matter expert in that area of expertise. I will say there are people who teach like microblading, and there are people that teach the interior designer thing. I don't know your industry, so I can't make that call for you. But if you're not allowed to make claims or there's something health related, I could see how like you would have to meet those standards. There are someone else I think of, Stacey Monroe. So we can tag Stacey and we can tag Julie Dillon, Julie is the interior designer and Stacey is the hairstylist. She also has like certain things. She's like, I think like as an esthetician, right? And like a hairstylist is they have like industry certifications and trainings that they have to accomplish as individuals. And if you're not teaching that, like what are you expected to teach? And so I know it's possible. Have you searched specifically what you're looking to teach? Like, have you Googled like how to teach pedicures, waxing, how to teach what it means to be an esthetician online or something like that? There are other estheticians teaching it. That means you know it's okay, but you just have to figure out what makes sense for your thing. So we obviously can't be experts in every single industry that exists in the world with every single certification. So there is some thing that you have to do, but we can tag those two people offhand is who I'm thinking of. Am I missing anyone else who would be taggable for this kind of question?
I don't know. You covered up your mic though a little bit with your hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Stacey Monroe and Julie Dillon. Yeah.
So if they have some sort of industry thing that they had to abide by, I mean, so this reminds me of teaching for college too. Like we had standards that we have to meet, and then you can deliver it however you want as long as you're certified or accredited. So if you have to do some accreditation, that I don't know, but it doesn't mean that you can't teach some piece of that, like how to build a business around that. You don't need an accreditation for it. You would just teach how you built a business as an esthetician. Right. You're not teaching them how to wax. So I don't know. I hope that clears it up, but it sounds like you're also not watching live because of children.
I think she is. She said she edited the comment. That's why that one sentence was missing for you and maybe why it appears differently in eCam. Yeah.
eCam. Okay, cool. Kelsey, does that make sense? If you want to give us a little bit more information, that might help.
But that's a good distinction. Like if you're teaching people how to make a business or how to do the like, not the actual like what chemicals to purchase or stuff like that.
Yeah, how not to kill somebody, right? That's good. Yeah.
Because that's what Stacey Monroe does, right? Like is she teaching how to do hair? She's not,
nope.
Right? She's teaching
them how to make six figures as a hair
salon. Yeah.
In a salon. Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So she doesn't have to be accredited, but then her accreditations validate her and make her someone that people follow and be like, oh, she's legit. So like you have your accreditations, great. But like, what are you exactly teaching them? You're not trying to replace some sort of licensing firm. That is a whole other, right? Ballgame. Oh, there you go. Ryan, disclaimers. Boom. I have an insurance agent as a client. There's lots of people in those. Derek's dad does insurance actually. So like they just have heavily regulated industries. Doesn't mean he couldn't teach insurance agents how to, use social media to grow their, no, but like he follows standards as an insurance agent. What?
Just laughing at my dad teaching how to use social media.
He's so good at it though.
He's pretty good.
Okay.
So here's a comment or a question. Catchy title for the exclusive Facebook group.
Ooh, let's do it.
I don't know who asked this. Man, the distinction between what Facebook shows and what Ecamm shows and Skype, I don't know. We have like lots of systems trying to talk to each other. I don't know who asked this question.
I don't even see it.
I don't either.
What's it above or below?
It was below.
Below what?
The question we just answered.
Oh, I don't see it. Maybe the person deleted it.
Hmm.
Where do you see it? Ecamm?
It's right under. I see it on Ecamm. It's right under Christine Slater saying having the example of Funnel Playground has been very freeing. It's not in the Facebook feed, but it is on Ecamm. So I don't know. Do you want to address it?
I mean, I don't like. We're just supposed to come up with a name for them. I don't understand.
I think the exclusive group should be the name of your course, right? Because that's for your students. The exclusive one, yeah.
You could be like
this group is called Build a Better Beta (parentheses BBB). Like it's just the name of the course.
It could students of. I've seen people do that, or like, yeah, yep. It was me, Sarah. Weird. It's gone.
Yeah, it's not in Facebook, but it is in Ecamm. But the Teacher's Lounge, I mean, that's, I don't know. We just came up with a funny name.
Yeah. I was using my cell phone, so it might be coming up weird. Huh.
But yeah, Teacher's Lounge, that's just...
I don't know.
Just a fun play on being teachers online.
Correct.
Be careful, though. I just thinking about people asking questions about being like a high school teacher and needing school supplies. That came up in the Teacher's Lounge recently. But like the description clearly says for online businesses, like teaching online. And then people come in with like I am a teacher. How do I get funding for my classroom? I'm like, well, that's not, I mean, that's, I guess, closer than what this person was asking. But yeah.
Yeah. There's a question that just came in from Elisa.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Alyssa or Elisa? E or I? Double E phonetically.
How can I make decisions about niching down? I teach parenting skills that work best for parents of kids ages 3 to 12. Being a better parent is hard to quantify. I absolutely know parents who use the strategies will feel better and be better parents, but how do I frame that result without being super abstract? So yeah, it's kind of one of those nebulous outcomes that can be tricky.
Yeah. But people want it. So it's it's the market. So like Russell Brunson kind of talks about this when he talks about like people don't want to get better at something. They want a new opportunity. So the reason being is like, if you're not like going to buy a course because you're just like, I suck at this. Like there's not a lot of parents running around like, I'm the worst parent ever. Like they're in a totally different state if they believe that about themselves. So they think they're doing their best and they've tried lots of things. Why is your thing different than everything that they've tried? So then you position your thing as a new vehicle that I would jump in to be like, oh, so that's why the diet industry still exists. So like, the best example of this is like South Beach, Keto, Atkins. They're all the same shit. Someone just repackaged it and said, oh, this is like this tiny thing that's a little bit different. I'm going to repackage it from a marketing perspective and tell you why this is the best thing. And so from parenting perspectives, just like know what you teach, what makes it different than like what they've tried in the past or like what they're currently thinking is possible. And that's your new opportunity. That becomes your offer. They just want the solution to whatever parenting issues they have. They don't want to be told they're a bad parent. They actually want to be told that they were just taught wrong. So like, if you notice my positioning, it's not like, yes, it's about being a better teacher, but it's like it's because you just didn't know. Like you were taught by marketers. You see how it's easy for me to just say, oh, they're the bad guys. We're on the same team. We care about our students. So like the new opportunity is a new way of looking at course creation that no one else is teaching because of my unique background and perspective and like how I see the world. So same for your parenting. There's no like, there might not even be anything super new, but it's like your collection of stuff that works for people who you want to help. So when it comes to like niching down, sometimes I absolutely know parents who use the strategy will feel better, but how do I frame that? And you don't want to be abstract. You want to get really nitty gritty. Like,
that's the niching part.
Yeah. What is the result that they actually want? And currently, what is the problem they're experiencing? Maybe, from a parenting perspective, it's getting a kid to like do their homework, or is it like daily things? It's like having control where your kid listens. Like, can you paint a picture of what the storybook ending looks like? That's why I teach it the way I teach it, which is like, what is the storybook ending they're looking for? They're not buying the course for the textbook. They're buying the course for actually the transformation that you're promising, that storybook ending. Why can't they just Google it? Why can't they just read another parenting book? Because that hasn't worked. That's why. And you have to explain to them that your result, like, you can get them that. You can get them from A to B. The problem and the current situation to their dream is the storybook ending. So the more you talk in that context, there's Stu McLaren teaches this really well too. It's like internal, external marketing reasons. Like, the internal reasons is I'm a bad parent. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have doubt. Like, I hate my kids. Like, I don't want to tell anyone I hate my kids because no one does. Like, am I the only one? I feel alone. I want to lock myself in the bathroom to stay away from whatever, right? Like, I'm not a parent, so I have no idea. But those are internal. So they're not going to like say that. But if you can like echo that back to them, they're going to be like, oh, she's like, that's what I want to heal. But external, it's like, I would like my kid to listen to me. I would like my kid to do their homework. I would like my kid to pick up after themselves. I would like my kid to do this. Like, what do they want? That's external. They'll talk about that all over the internet. But what they might not say are some of those internal stuff. So that's what marketing touches both. Good marketing touches both. And then it becomes not abstract because you're literally in the minds of your ideal people. And if the best way to do that is actually be the person who you were a year ago before you figured it out, or whatever, or before you learned from this person, or before you had all these pieces fit together. So that's why for me, if you see like in my masterclass, it's like, I literally lived through building a business that I was not good at and hating it, and like knowing, oh shoot, I really like to teach. Why have I not been doing this? So then I tell that story and people are like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's it. Like, I tell a story from me. So that's the more stories you can tell, then I'm going to start telling stories of my students. That's where you can connect with Julie, or that's where you can connect with Lydia Kitts, or you can connect with different people that I talk about in the masterclass. So that's how you niche down, is by the best way to niche down, the easiest and fastest, is if you were the person who got the result yourself. Get back to the day where you had the big aha moment. That's the epiphany that Russell Brunson talks about. So his book, Expert Secrets, is like a freaking great read. And I'm probably going to be recommending that in Market Like a Teacher, because I'm actually revisiting it right now for the next thing Derek and I are working on. And I just forget how he explains it so well. He's like a genius in that thing. And the epiphany bridge is Derek, remember writing my of myself? It's like the epiphany bridge is like, oh, the day that I figured it out, like, you have that day too. So like, you basically talk about that in your marketing. That's how you niche down, is you make people connect with you. And if it's not you, you make people connect with a client that you've had.
Yeah, your testimonials, your examples, your stories.
Yeah.
Russell Brunson, what's the book called? Expert
Secrets.
Secrets.
Expert Secrets. Yeah. He's the guy who created ClickFunnels.
Yeah, he owns ClickFunnels.
Yeah. I don't love everything he does, but
for better or worse.
Yeah. So I don't endorse everything he says. But this book is the best explanation of exactly what we're talking right now: marketing niches, how to position your offer. He pretty much was one of the people who came up with this stuff. So it's the best explanation. Yeah. Internet. Yeah. So he's like constantly releasing stuff. I'm not sure. Oh, good. Elizabeth,
Internet Secrets. Yeah, we saw that.
I've reread that book probably 5 or 6 times.
Mhm.
No joke. Or I go back to it regularly, which says a lot about running a business online too. So he's a great marketer and he's a great salesman. We were just talking about him last night, actually. And that's such a dangerous combo. Like most people have one or the other, but he can do both really well. Marketing and sales are different. They totally are. And he's like good at both. Yeah. So he's done a lot of under delivering and over promising. That's what happens when you're a marketer, a salesperson, and you don't care about customer service. I mean, I don't know if anyone in here watching knows, but Expert Secrets is actually a screenshot in my masterclass. So like, without it. Yeah. He is not my go-to person to talk about like student results and care. No, not at all. Cool. Yeah. Elizabeth, the replay just lives as a Facebook Live, and we organize it in units in the Facebook group. Yeah. Awesome. I think we answered everything. If anyone else has any questions, we still got about 5 minutes.
So 2.
Elisa, hopefully that helped. If you want to brainstorm some other stuff, let me know. I'm trying to think if there's any parenting. There's someone, I love her. Dana Abrams is an amazing person. Elisa, if you, hold on.
Yeah, I can't think of any parenting specific people in BBB.
Not in BBB, but Dana Abrams is a great person to follow. I just tagged her on the live, but she's not in our group, but like
she has in the group
site teaches parenting and stuff. And there's actually a lot of people in Tribe that teach parenting. So, okay, so I do want to say this, and I say like this is typical. If there's lots of people teaching it and they're running successful businesses,
it's a good thing.
That means it's valid. It's valid. So now it's all about positioning you and figuring out what you bring to the table. What's your unique like way of doing it? What's your new opportunity? And like that's the course. Like how you position that is your course. And I'll say this, you're not going to get it perfect in the beta run. That's why we do it. So like, you know, thinking about like my niche has shifted and changed as well. So like show up, do the work. How can you teach people who's going to be attracted? And then you start narrowing down your FYA students by who's getting the best results in your course. So know that it's also always shifting. That's why you read Expert Secrets 10 times because you're just like, oh, yeah. So hopefully that helps too. Sweet.
Bent dropped a quote. I think quoting you.
Ooh, what did I say? I don't even know.
It's interesting. People do not want to be better. What they want is a new opportunity.
That's Russell. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've said it a lot of times, but it is what it is. Yeah.
So this is because nobody wants to recognize themselves as being bad, quote unquote, from the start.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. It's in one of the early chapters of that book is explaining that idea of the new opportunity. And that's where it's like, oh, that's why you see like, oh, this is actually how you lose weight. Because it like we all know what we're supposed to do, but it's repackaged. Mm-hmm. And that's why the diet industry is so huge because everyone hates themselves like internally. No, but it's true. Like, and then they capitalize on that and then they just repackage it. And it's like, well, this is going to work for you. And here's why. And so they find the holes in other things that didn't work for people. Right. So yeah, I think the diet industry is like just such a perfect example of like one of the most crowded diet and exercise crowded markets, but that there's people it keeps going and like they just keep reinventing it and figuring out more information. That's why it's like, oh, it's plants. Oh, it's fruit. Oh, it's eat a billion carbs, whatever it is. Someone's going to come out with how you can lose a bajillion pounds on a full carb diet, like whatever, maybe, I don't know. But it's like and so it's all about just repackaging essentially and giving people confidence and whatever. It's not necessarily like wrong or lying. It's just, yeah.
Elizabeth's asking, is there someone I could see who teaches about healing or healthy relationships?
Healing is really generic, so I don't know. Healing healthy getting healthy relationships.
This is healing or healthy relationships.
Healing what? I guess I would ask, but healthy relationships. Yeah, there's a ton of love coaches, family coach. Like,
Who?
is there anyone in BBB? No. So
I thought there was a family counselor or something like that.
yeah. So one thing Russell talks about in the very beginning of the book is the three markets, and there's some discussion about how there might be four, but like you could base like without even getting into that there's three. There's wealth, relationships, and oh my gosh, what's the third? Health, wealth, and relationships. Those are the three markets.
Oh, yeah,
So what
Rachel and Kyle, right?
What does BBB? Oh yeah, good example. What does BBB do? BBB is wealth. It's like we add wealth. So then he creates sub markets where it's internet marketing, and then it's selling courses, right? So that's my niche within a sub market. So if those are the three markets, there is an entire market on relationships. So by asking the question, is there anyone out there that does relationships?
It's a third of
It's literally a third of people making money, not just of marketers, but in the public. So then you could start to look at corporations and being like, what is it? So there are some that you might be able to like fit in multiple, and so you just have to like think about it as the and so he teaches it about like a web, like a mind map, where there's the three main markets, and then there's sub markets, and then there's a niche, and you create a blue ocean. He talks about that because you're making a niche in a new way, essentially, and that's going to give you the best chance of success. So there's lots of people. Megan Wex teaches people. So like, think about all the submarkets. Like I could just get into this. I just of people I know. Like I know a woman who teaches people about grief and she's a widow. So your husband dies. What do you do? Like think about anything that can happen in the human condition that follows under relationships, but like it's such a niche and submarket because that doesn't happen to everybody. Or Megan Wex teaches like the man funnel, and she teaches like dating and being single as an older woman, and like how to actually juggle lots of men at the same time, which is like goes against maybe what we've thought growing up about like how we should behave as women in society. And so and then there's Rachel and Kyle, who are a married couple, and Rachel's a therapist with an MFT, I believe. I had her on my podcast, academic, who realized that there's this huge gap in like how people teach to be relationships in school, right? And as a sociologist, I was like, yeah, I taught marriage and family, right? So like Marla and her partner are both business owners, and they teach entrepreneurs how to be successful entrepreneurs as a couple. So Derek and I are totally in their market, right? Where we run a business together and are married. So see how those are just sub niches of this larger thing of like, people want to be in relationships.
Elizabeth is saying the niche is toxic relationships.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, you want to avoid toxic relationships. So how to avoid it, okay, so then the sub-market is bad relationship. What is it getting out of them? Is it avoiding them? Is it both?
She said earlier, healing after a toxic relationship.
Okay, yeah, cool. So we're getting closer.
Ryan's in someone's man funnel.
What?
Ryan is in someone's man funnel.
Right?
Yeah. He got pixeled on Tinder.
They're always talking about like, oh man, we never did the whole like app dating thing like the millennials. We're just on the cusp of that. We got married too soon, babe, to like really no. Yes, the man funnel. It's genius, that language. I would just Google like toxic relationship, like whatever, and just see who's leading it right now, because we do want you to do some market research and see like what people are teaching around it. And then that's how you can say, oh, she totally misses this. I can't believe she believes that. Mm-hmm. That's why I am with courses. I'm not the only person teaching course creation. Are you kidding? And so I look at everybody and I'm like, oh, they believe that? Cool. I don't believe that. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't talk crap about them, but I just say like, oh, cool, this is how I do it. And my people will come to me and her people will go to her. I have lots of people that buy everybody's courses on courses. That's totally fine. Like, and I think there's stuff to learn from all different teachers, and like you get to be that for someone else. Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Good.
Good. I'm feeling good.
Well, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys. That was a
Recording
good
will
one.
live, after the call ends in the Facebook group. You can watch from the beginning. Skip around.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, Ryan. New student,
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed on. I think
Welcome.
I'm not sure if there's another somewhat new student, but
Mhm.
cool. We will see you guys next week.
No crap talking.
No crap talking. No, and you don't need to. I don't think we need to do that. You just know, oh, cool, that's how they teach that. This is what I offer. Like, this is how I do it differently. And I think we can actually help each other. So then that's a whole other conversation of how I teach it benefit somebody who actually is tangential and like teaches something similar. Like, how can we actually benefit each other? And I think there's a lot to be done there too. Like, it's not about like, yeah.
Elizabeth's trying to remember the lady who's dating a lot of people.
Megan Wex. That would have been
Who's
like
the lady who advice multiply relationships.
what? Not on the feed anymore. I don't know.
Probably Megan Wex.
Megan Wex, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Megan Wex. I mean, there's a bunch of people you can just start following and seeing how they're showing up. Just start Googling relationship coach. Follow a couple generic, like whatever. Like, just play around. Yeah. Go like type in, go to YouTube. There's probably going to be some people teaching stuff on there. Like, there's lots of places to like see who's out there coaching and teaching around something. But absolutely people have made that niche work. So figure out what your, new opportunity is that's a little bit different than what people are doing. Sweet.
Cool.
All right, kids.
Have a good one.
See you next time.